There are, of course, differences between the Switch 2 and the SNES. One is a hybrid, one is a 16-bit processor. One was released in 1990 while the other is releasing this year. However, in terms of their identity and potential impact, they are very similar. The SNES was the sequel console to an already very successful, very popular system, and the Switch 2 is the sequel to the Switch 1, also a very successful, very popular console. And although the video game industry is considerably different now, I think looking at what the SNES did is still a good way of knowing what the Switch 2 will do, or what it needs to do. What is the goal of a console? As odd as it sounds, it's not to make money. It's to sell games. Consoles are sold at a loss to make more money off game sales. People are more likely to buy more games when they already own the console. That's what the SNES did. It excelled at offering exclusive titles that were also just good games, like Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Donkey Kong Country became instant classics. If the Switch 2 is going to have that same level of success, it will need exclusives that feel indispensable, titles that use the console to their advantage while advancing beloved series. The bar has already been set high with games like Luigi's Mansion 3, Pikmin 4, and Tears of the Kingdom, but the Switch 2 must be capable of more without seeming like an unnecessary hassle just to play the next Mario. If this new Mario Kart we've only seen a glimpse of is a quality Switch 2 exclusive, that's already a good sign. And if we assume Metroid Prime 4 is going to get an enhanced Switch 2 exclusive version, the future of the console looks even better. The SNES was successful because it understood the importance of clarity in marketing and branding. The NES had already solidified Nintendo's place in the industry as an entertainment system rather than a video game console, and the SNES followed through without confusing people. Its branding made it clear this was the next step forward, not just a new iteration, but a system that would bring about the next level stuff. This clarity meant that people were excited for the upgrade rather than questioning its necessity. The importance of this kind of clarity cannot be overstated, especially in the context of modern consoles. For the Switch 2 to succeed, Nintendo must once again make sure that its messaging is just as clear. I need to understand not only how the Switch 2 differs from its predecessor, but also why it's a worthwhile investment. What does it bring to the table that the original Switch doesn't? What makes it essential rather than just a nice to have? If Nintendo can't answer that, or if there is no answer, it risks repeating the missteps of the Wii U. The Wii U is a good example of when this goes wrong. So far, I'd say Nintendo has done a good job. They haven't put things into full marketing yet, so there isn't much to go off of, but the name Switch 2 is definitely playing it safe. And although I would have been more intrigued with a name like Super Switch or Switch Up, those do risk repeating the Wii U. One of the most remarkable aspects of the SNES was its graphical leap. At a time when visuals were everything, its pseudo 3D graphics were a massive upgrade over the NES. It wasn't just about realistic graphics though, it was about immersion and creating new experiences. The SNES showed how improved visuals can enhance gameplay and storytelling, making it a worthwhile effort. I will never ever say Switch games look bad. Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Metroid Prime Remastered, and Luigi's Mansion 3 are some of the best looking games I know. Nintendo really shows how art direction can triumph over pure graphical power. While the original Switch has been praised for its innovative hybrid design, and personally I've found no major issues in its performance, it's often been criticized for lagging behind in raw power compared to its competitors. And some games do have a fairly low frame rate. This is where the Switch 2 has an opportunity. Just like how NES games looked good for their time until they were outdated by the SNES, the Switch 2 could take what's already great about the Switch and make it even better by enabling games that simply aren't feasible on the current hardware. If the Switch 2 has the opportunity to increase power, it absolutely should. However, I don't want increased power to be the sole driving factor behind its existence. The SNES wasn't just about power, it also introduced new features like shoulder buttons which changed how games were being played. These additions made the console different from the NES in ways that extended beyond just graphics. The Switch 2 has a chance to innovate as well with its new buttons and a mouse mode on its controllers. These features could offer entirely new playstyles and mechanics, making the Switch 2 feel new and worthwhile. I could easily see games like Pikmin or Super Mario Maker benefiting immensely from mouse functionality, and a mouse mode would be really cool. It means a wide array of PC-style games can be easier to play on the console. The SNES's lifetime wasn't without challenges. It did have competition from Sega's Genesis, which employed a propaganda marketing campaign that pictured Nintendo as outdated, and its games as for babies.
This some kind of game? Answer me, baby!
This rivalry cut into Nintendo's market share, even though the Genesis wasn't truly more powerful. While they still delivered one of the best-selling consoles of its era, they did lose a portion of their profit. The Switch 2 will also have a lot more competition than the Switch. For years, the hybrid console market was a place dominated exclusively by Nintendo, but as the console's success has become impossible to ignore, other companies have begun to mimic it. The growing competition is likely to expand the hybrid console market overall. However, it may also mean that Nintendo will face a tougher fight to maintain its dominant position, and I could see its market share diminish. That said, considering it's games that sell consoles, any competition they do face will be much less than the SNES had. What truly sets Nintendo apart is their ability to create unforgettable experiences. The SNES gave us memories that are still cherished decades later, and the Switch has done the same for a new generation. If the Switch 2 does anything, I want it to be a source of fun and memories. Is that so much to ask for? Today's video was sponsored by the Yiga Clan. Glory to Master Koga. Use promo code MagnificentOne to get 50% off your next purchase of bananas. But thank you for your time.
For the ultimate G-Force, only on the next generation from Nintendo. Now you're racing with power, superpower.